Canto 14. From center to rim, as from rim to center, the water in a rounded vessel moves, as it is struck from without or from within. This thought, just as I phrase it, dropped into my mind the very instant the glorious living soul of Thomas fell silent. Because of the like effects that sprang from his speech and from the words of Beatrice, who, responding, graciously began, "This man has need, but does not tell of it, either by word or yet in thought, because he seeks the root of still another truth. Tell him if the light that blooms and makes your substance radiant shall remain with you eternally the way it shines today. And if it remains, tell him how, when all of you are visible once more, this would not prove harmful to your sight. As, impelled and drawn by heightened joy, dancers in a round may raise their voices, their pleasure showing in their movements, so, at that eager and devout appeal, the holy circles showed new joy in wheeling, as well as in their wondrous song. Whoever here on earth laments that we must die to find our life above knows not the fresh relief found there in these eternal showers. That ever-living one and two and three, who reigns forever in three and two and one, uncircumscribed and circumscribing all, was sung 3 times by each and every one of these spirits, and with such melody as would be fit reward for any merit. And I heard in the most resplendent light of the lesser circle a modest voice, such perhaps as the angel's was to Mary, reply, "Just as long as the festival of paradise shall last, that is how long our love shall dress us in this radiance. Its brightness answers to our ardor, the ardor to our vision, and that is given in greater measure of grace than we deserve. When we put on again our flesh, glorified and holy, then our persons will be more pleasing for being all complete, so that the light granted to us freely by the highest good shall increase, the light that makes us fit to see him. From that light, vision must increase, and love increase what vision kindles, and radiance increase, which comes from love. But like a coal that shoots out flame, and in its glowing center still outshines it, so that it does not lose its own appearance, just so this splendor that enfolds us now will be surpassed in brightness by the flesh that earth as yet still covers. Nor will such shining have the power to harm us, for our body's organs shall be strengthened to deal with all that can delight us. So quick and eager seem to me both choirs to say their amen, that they clearly showed their desire for their dead bodies, not perhaps for themselves alone, but for their mothers, for their fathers, and for others whom they loved before they all became eternal flames. And lo, all around, and all of equal brightness, rose a splendor surpassing what had been, as the horizon at the rising sun grows brighter. And just as, at the approach of evening, new lights begin to show throughout the sky, so faint they seem, both real and yet unreal, it seemed to me that I began to see new substances that there formed a ring beyond the other 2 circumferences. Ah, true incandescence of the holy breath! How suddenly its glowing shone before me, so bright my eyes could not endure it. But Beatrice showed herself to me so fair and smiling, this vision of her must remain among those sights that have escaped my memory. At this my eyes regained their sight, and, raising them, I saw myself translated, alone now with my lady, to a more exalted state of bliss. I was assured that I had risen higher by the planet's fiery smile. It seemed to me to glow more red than usual. With all my heart, and in that tongue which is the same for all, I made burnt offering to God befitting the new grace. And the burning of the sacrifice had not yet finished in my breast before I knew my offering was propitious and accepted, for splendors of such brightness, glowing red, appeared to me within 2 beams that I cried out, O Helios, who so adorned them. As the Milky Way, arrayed with greater and lesser lights, glows white between the universal poles, making even sages wonder how and why, these rays, thus constellated, made, deep within Mars, the venerable sign that the crossing of its quadrants fixes in a circle. Here my memory outstrips my skill, for that cross so flamed forth, Christ, that I can find no fit comparison. But he who takes his cross and follows Christ shall yet forgive me what I leave untold, for shining in that dawn I did see Christ. From arm to arm and between the head and foot moved brilliant lights that scintillated as they met and passed. Just so we see on earth, straight and slanting, swift and slow, changing in appearance, tiny motes of matter, long and short, move through the beam of light that sometimes streaks the shades, that men devise for their protection, both with cunning and with skill. And as a viol and harp, strung with many strings, in their harmony will sound sweet, even to one who fails to catch their tune, so from the lights that there appeared to me, a melody gathered and came from the cross, enchanting me, though I could not make out the hymn. I could tell that it contained high praise, for the words "arise and conquer" came to me, as to one who hears but does not understand. I was moved to such great love by this, that up until that moment I had not been bound by chains so sweet and gentle. My words, perhaps, may seem too bold, slighting the beauty of those lovely eyes. Gazing into them, my longing finds repose. But one who understands that the living seals of all that's beautiful gain potency with each ascent, and that I had not turned to her eyes there, may excuse me for that of which, accusing myself, I make my excuse, and see that I speak the truth. For holy beauty may not be excluded here, because, as it ascends, it gains in purity.